Hello, this is Jacob here with Small Business Chat. Joining me today is Matt Swyers. How are you doing today, Matt?
Yo, man, how you doing? I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing awesome. We have a lot of cool stuff to talk about today, including some trademark knowledge and just some small business chat. Literally, small business chat is what we're talking about today. Matt, take it away. What's some stuff that's on your mind?
This week, there's a couple things that came up. I know you want to talk about trademarks and copyrights and, patents and all that sort of stuff. But, it's one of the things that came up this week for me just sort of a general concept of like when you start your own business and being an entrepreneur and, the concept of free time. Like, I don't know, what do you do in your free time, man? So I keep looking over at you because the screen's over here and the camera's here and I keep looking at the camera, but what do you do in your free time?
I like to really just relax and also work out. I've been getting back a New Year's resolution. I don't know, Matt, have you started a New Year's resolution yet for working out, or are you just always in great shape?
Thanks for noticing. But yeah, I was going to say back to you, I'm like, when I see you on Wednesdays, I'm like, hey, you're looking good.
Thank you. This last year, I've been really wanting to get in better shape. I got myself one of those Amazon lap machines. I've been building my own gym. So building my own gym, I've got my bench press already. I've got my dumbbells. I've got my incline bench. But the one thing I was missing was a lap machine. And I finally got it. I got it off of Facebook Marketplace. Great place to get things for cheap. I got it like half off.
What's a lap machine?
Lap machine is so it's a machine where you sit down and then there's like this bar and you just pull it down and then you bring it back up and you pull it down. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I got you. No, yeah. You had to refresh my record. I haven't been to a gym since before COVID. So,
what's the last gym you've been to? What's the last gym you've been to, Matt? YMCA. Oh, okay. You don't do Planet Fitness or anything?
So fun to have. It's great to have fun at the YMCA. But I just worked my ass off when I was there. But it was good. But I've got my place upstairs now as well. So I've got my.
Oh, you got your own gym upstairs too? What do you got up there?
I've got a stationary bike. I've got my cage, which is my favorite thing of all time. I got to see one of my idols, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, working out on a cage. You know what I'm talking about when we talk about the cage?
Is it that thing you wrap the rubber bands around, or is that something different?
No. It's I don't know. It's basically you got pull-ups, chin-ups. You got a dip. It's for dips, and then also for abs. And what I loved it when I saw The Rock out there, no matter who you are in the real world, man's out there like 5 a.m. Working out, and he'll do his cage workout every once in a while. And but how he increases the weight on him when he's doing his dips and stuff is he'll just put actual chains on him. I just thought it was sort of a badass look. So I'm getting me a cage, and that cage changed my life because again, I was, I don't even know what I was, right around COVID. I'm glad, by the way, we're talking about business stuff. Believe it or not, we're going to wrap this back into business. But
Exactly.
Throughout my entire adult life, I sort of hung at, again, I'm shy of 6 foot. We all know that. But, but I hung traditionally at around, between 190, 185 to 200. Man, once I got on that cage and I started running, it changed me. It just changed it because you just, whatever. You can credit The Rock for, bringing it to me. So anyways, back to your question. I got a cage. I got adjustable dumbbells that basically they can go up to 60 or 70 pounds, all the way down to 10. An exercise bike and a rowing machine. I have a rowing machine. I've used it I've used it 4 times. You never get anywhere. Just right there.
It's not the greatest workout. There's only one that I've ever used that was actually really good. It was over at O2 Fitness. But for me, rowing machines just don't do too much. I mean, there's even ones that have water in it. Have you ever tried one of those?
Literally the one I have. It has water in it.
It has water in it.
Yeah. So you can't even adjust the tension. You're just you don't get anywhere. And I've never really actually looked at an English crew team and say, I want to look like one of those guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. But your point though is sort of so what do you do in your free time? And so some people, successful people, and so it depends on also how how you actually define success. You're talking about monetary success, or you're talking about success with your body image, or you're talking about, whatnot. But successful people in general, you tend to spend their free time a little bit differently. They don't sit on, on a couch and eat a bag of Fritos watching Vanderpump Rules tonight. I know I'm not supposed to be topically or whatever too much, but tonight, I think 9 o'clock, Vanderpump Rules. But anyways, they sit there and, you're eating chips while you're watching Vanderpump Rules and wondering why people, look better than you look, or you don't feel good, or they have more money in their bank account. Successful people, how they spend their free time is working on themselves, working on, if it's the bank account, if it's, whatnot. Like, I told you the story a couple minutes ago offline, when we were just chatting about that. It was like, after my divorce, I sort of went a little bit like, I don't know, obsessed would be a good word, with basically bettering myself. And now I'm just like, okay, well, for whatever reason it happened. I'm not going to go into that here on this, but, so one of my things was how to better myself financially. And so I became so obsessed with it that like almost everything I did for years was just like, okay, can I find ways to make money while I'm sitting on the couch at 8 p.m. watching the Vanderpump Rules again tonight at 9 on Bravo. But anyways, and stuff like that. And so it's how you spend your free time, or going up and working out in my gym, and stuff like that. So how do you spend your free time?
Pretty much just working out and pretty much bettering myself. And I mean, what are some things that you do? Because I know you preached a lot in the other podcasts that there's more than 8 hours in a day. What do you do after the 8 hours is over, Matt? Other than eat a delicious dinner.
And by the way, I want to eventually throw it back to you because, like, what I'm talking about. Because when you have your 9 to 5, that should pay for your rent and your, hopefully your mortgage and all that sort of stuff. But then, if you're going to start a side hustle, that's one of the things that you can do, like, after your 9 to 5 at 8 o'clock at night, right? I know a lot of people, resell things on eBay these days and on, say, Amazon and make their money. A lot of people, I think you may know one, become like really fantastic realtors, right? Like, tell us that story,
Yeah, my wife, Destiny, she, way back when she first started, it was like years ago, back when we were actually just dating whenever she first started becoming a real estate agent. Now we've been together for over 5+ years. But yeah, she started her own real estate company with her mother, Tara, and she's been quite successful, Matt. Actually, my friend Joseph, I think you've probably seen him around once or twice. He just used her to purchase his house, and he just went under contract actually yesterday. So they're actually moving 6 minutes away from my house, and I couldn't be happier. Like, he's been living in Morrisville for years, and I barely get to see him anymore. And now he's moving over here to lovely Lillington, and he's living literally like right down the street from me. It's awesome.
That's cool. That's cool. I always like real estate because it's just like, especially like for what your wife does, it's sort of like she actually gets to help people literally with the American dream, like home ownership, which is freaking awesome. She must feel good about herself every day, right? But like she had a 9 to 5. What did she do with her free time? She started becoming a realtor so she could actually have a business on the side, and she works her buns off. And we know realtors, like, is that like a 5-day-a-week job, or do they work all the time?
Yeah, 7 days a week, man. She anytime this for example, she was coming back from her first job, and I just hit her with the news. I was like, listen, Destiny, my friend saw a house today, and he really wants to put in an offer. Can you get going on that immediately? And she was like, yeah, let me get home real quick, and I'll get everything typed up, and we'll start the offer process. So she's just got to drop everything and just jump right on her side hustle. But then eventually her side hustle is going to turn into a business. Going back to what Matt was saying, is that you can't have tunnel vision. You should in certain aspects, and just kind of look for the future and just keep grinding, no matter how hard it may seem. You may not get your results right away. You just got to keep going and keep plugging away.
Yeah, exactly. And so again, successful people aren't confined by 9 to 5. I think it's really the moral of this, which is like successful people will do their 9 to 5 to pay off, pay the bills and all that sort of stuff, but they're always working for self-betterment, whether it be in the gym, whether it be, doing a side hustle, whatever the case may be. And again, so yes, so what did I do, after my separation and all that sort of stuff? Like one of the sort of the crazy things that I would do is I would sort of look around, and I would basically look around my house, and I've been in this house since 2007, and I would basically be like, okay, so what stuff did we accumulate, which is now legally mine, and such that I could do something with. So you would find like things in the house that you'd be like, well, I don't need this anymore. But rather than just go throw it in the dump, I made a habit out of basically posting on eBay, making money on eBay, and then taking that money and throwing it into either, at the time, cryptocurrency or the stock market. And so you'd be amazed at just doing these little things, again, while you're watching Vanderpump Rules or something like that, a football game, whatever the case may be, while you're doing something. And the next thing you know, that your wealth starts to actually grow. And people will always say, what are you doing? You only made $10 here or $20 there. But over a lifetime, $10 a night or $20 or $30 a night, and then you throw it in the stock market, crypto, whatever, it adds up significantly. Now, I'm not saying that you always have to look for the micro. You can actually look for the macro and basically start your own real estate business or something like that. So one of the things that I became somewhat decent at is I educated myself on how to actually invest and really learn how to pick some pretty good stocks along the way. So when you get that $50,000, $100,000 extra, you're investing it. Once again, don't sit around idly and just eat chips and wonder why you see someone on the news that's doing better than you. Become that person that's willing to break through that 9 to 5 and say, I don't really care, 9 to 5, that's fine. You can be 9 to 5 and sit there wondering on a couch how they did it. Or you can be the person that just goes out and does it. And I'm gonna tell you, they have the same amount of time,
Exactly. Speaking of bag of chips, Matt, what's your favorite bag of chips?
I'm in the minority on this one. You're not gonna like this. I don't think you're gonna like this.
It's gonna be something random.
Flaming hot Cheetos.
Hot Cheetos, man. I don't know why a lot of people love those so much. I mean, they're all right, but I just don't want to suffer when I want to enjoy a bag of chips, man. Like,
are you like a Lay's, like plain chip?
My new favorite, actually, and it used to be for the longest time, Doritos used to be my favorite, but my new favorite is white cheddar popcorners. Popcorners, anything now is just delicious. Have you had popcorners before?
Yeah. The fiance has them in her house. I think I know what you're talking about. They're like, they're popcorns that look like Doritos, like they're popcorn chips that look like Doritos, and the white. She has literally those. Those are jamming. Okay, I'll give you that. Those are they like supposed to be healthier or something like that?
No, not really, but they probably come off as they are. I mean, the only other one that's like popcorn related is called Smart Food, white cheddar popcorn, and they say that it's healthy, but I mean, who really knows?
The kids had that, I remember, in school because they great back. Yeah, the younger generations will believe anything. You put healthy on it, they'll buy it, and then they never read the food label, and they're still just eating crap. But anyways, so
hey Matt, I have a trademark question really quick. Have you heard of Dr. Thunder before? Have you heard of Dr. Thunder for soda?
No.
No? Okay. So Walmart sells Dr. Thunder, which is obviously a spin-off of Dr. Pepper. How does that trademark or that company, I would have to look it up even if it's a trademark that's registered or pending, but how's that company even allowed to sell soda when it's so darn close to Dr. Pepper?
I'm just the whole Dr. Thunder thing. It just doesn't even sound like, it sounds like a James Bond villain or something like that. And for you, that was a popular movie franchise from many years ago. You probably never heard of James Bond, but
I've heard of James Bond. What do you give me?
You're so young. But Dr. Thunder. Well, when you look at, generally speaking, you're supposed to adopt trademarks that basically aren't likely to cause confusion with another trademark, right? I mean, that's sort of the standard. And and then the question is, it's in the eyes of the beholder, and as to whether or not two trademarks actually look alike. It's when you break it down, it's any doctor versus another doctor. It's sort of like McDonald's, right? Like if you try to start any food company that starts with Mick, you will get a nice letter from the McDonald's Corporation and their lawyers. And by the way, I've met them, or at least back where they used to be. Candidly, they're all really nice people. They hire good law firms that are actually, decent folks. But they send you a nice letter and they just say, hey, we pretty much own the Mick and food industry. So please just move away and just don't use that trademark anymore, or we'll make you move away, is the implication. When you deal with the doctor, Walmart's got deep pockets, so they can afford a lot of lawyers to defend it. But man, it's the only doctor. Do we know of any other doctors? Dr. Pepper, Dr. anything else? Dr. Thunder? So
not really. And I actually just looked it up on the USPTO's website. It's owned by Walmart. It's a Walmart brand, and they have, if you look it up, it's the exact same colors. It's red just like Dr. Pepper. It's got the almost exact same representation, and it's actually registered with the USPTO.
Whoa, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess
it's not owned by whoever owns Dr. Pepper, from what I can see.
Interesting. Yeah, because Dr. Pepper would be Dr. Pepper's Coke, right? I think they're Coke. Yeah. So,
Coke. Dr. Pepper has been owned by Keurig Dr. Pepper.
The coffee people?
Yeah.
Dr. Pepper's either Coke or Pepsi. I can't remember. They're all owned by like 19 different shell companies that and such. If I were an examining attorney back to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, I would have refused it, because I think that the doctor is too strong, and probably my managing attorney would have come in and beat me over the head and said, no, it's fine, you can actually do that. But when you talk about just trademarks, it's the overall look and feel, how similar to are they, and all that sort of stuff. And unfortunately, there's a lot of subjectivity in it. In fact, I believe there's a case possibly heading to the Supremes that is going to look at the way the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office views, trademarks in general, and either registers or don't. I don't think many people are following this case, but I'm pretty sure I read something about it, which is the Supreme Court potentially could be impacting the entire U.S. Patent and Trademark Office soon. And not because the USPTO is doing anything wrong, but the simple question is the likelihood of confusion standard too broad and, sorry, I'm not thinking of the right word. I'm certainly not a constitutional scholar, but indiscriminate. Basically, how do you determine, you let Dr. Thunder register over Dr. Pepper, but if someone with a McDaniel's comes in for a hamburger restaurant, there's no way they're going to get that. And so the question starts becoming, okay, but is this standard too vague such that it violates the U.S. Constitution? And again, constitutional scholars will beat me over the head because I don't use the pretty language. I don't talk pretty and all that sort of stuff. But I think that is coming down the pipe, so I'll be interested to see. But again, it's a subjective thing, right? Like, what do you think personally? I'm going to ask you. What do you think, Dr. Pepper versus Dr. Thunder?
Personally, I think it's huge trademark infringement because, and it's funny, our friend Alex,
by the way,
he brought it up to me.
That's your opinion, right? That's your opinion, right?
That's my opinion. Definitely my opinion. My friend Alex brought it up to me when he was when I was with him. He told me, he's like, yeah, man, try Dr. Thunder. It tastes almost like Dr. Pepper for the most part. It doesn't taste as good. It's like a knockoff version of it. But to me, it's just, I'm looking at it right now, pictures of it. It's got the same colors. It's got the same logo design as Dr. Pepper and everything.
Wow.
So for me, that's trademark infringement, and it's, like I said, it's not owned by Pepsi or anything. So I don't even know how. Let me see how many. Yeah, personally, I would if I was an examining attorney, in my opinion, I would have blocked this.
Yeah, and one of the other things too is, and you never know, it's sort of like, for all we know, maybe there's some type of licensing deal or something like that. There could be lots of things behind the scenes that we don't know. I would doubt they would have a license for something that's a similar trademark, and such. But you just never know. But yeah, generally you need to stick away from, if you're registering a trademark, especially if you have a famous brand, and I don't think anyone's going to argue Dr. Pepper is not a famous brand. You generally need to stick away from a likelihood of confusion with all brands that are already out there existing. But for the special, famous brands, Coca-Cola's of the world, Dr. Pepper's, Google, insert your own famous brand here. You really got to give them a little bit wider, McDonald's obviously, a little bit wider of a berth, because otherwise, you can just run into, problems. We once had someone that actually came to us and wanted to register a trademark, and I'm not going to say the actual trademark and stuff unless I get anyone in trouble here. But we actually had someone that literally was going into the food industry and wanted to adopt sort of the first half of somebody's trademark and then change the second half, and it had something blank pups or something like that. And then they wanted us to go to the actual company that owned the first part of that trademark that had made it amazingly famous over the years. And basically say, hey, can you negotiate a licensing deal? And I'm just like, when I called the attorney to basically do it, I'm just like, I knew what he was going to say because I knew him. I had cases with him. Great guy. And he was like, Matt. I'm like, yeah. He says, your client actually said, call me to negotiate a license. Wait for it. For our client's trademark, we already own it. We don't need to license it out to you. He's like, you know, do I have to even say it? I'm like, no, but can you officially say it so I can go back and tell my client? He's like, tell her she has to stop, or we'll have to do that. Nasty things to her. And I'm like, thank you. You know, and he never agreed. And by the way, that's the one thing that some people also just on a complete duck walk here. Yeah, sometimes it's so wonderful to actually deal with attorneys that actually know what they're doing from time to time. That's not to impugn any attorney, but when you get really smart attorneys, I've found a lot of them are just, sometimes there are some attorneys that maybe are really nervous about their position or something like that. It's so wonderful to deal with an attorney who knows what his client brings to the table and knows their rights, because you don't have to be mean and nasty about it. You can just be like, come on, you know you're wrong here, and such. So it's a great thing. But anyways, yeah. If you're gonna go down the trademark road, please pick something that's unique. There's a lot of trademarks out there, you know, and it's just, you know, pick something that's unique. And if you're intentionally knocking someone off and you're trying to get, if the thought process goes through your head, you know, let me try to make this close enough that it's going to make people go, hey, I wonder if that's similar, you know, because you're trying to evoke the similarity, walk away. You know, you're literally trying to trade on somebody else's brand and reputation. And I just think it's never worth it. Now, if you're Walmart, you know, you've got money to burn, you know, and so can they afford, you know, a big time law firms to basically throw up a big defense and all that sort of stuff? Sure. But from a small business perspective, which is our focus here, don't do it. It's just not worth the risk. Please don't do it. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And so I guess just leads us back into doing thorough research about your trademark. You know, the trademark company offers comprehensive searches to help go weed through those potential infringements or the people that you can unfortunately infringe on, just to give you an outlook of what the USPTO's website's like. Other questions, Matt, just randomly, Benny asked you, but you worked with Jeff Lindsay at one point, was his name, with that did the Dexter books, is that right?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, God, you actually caught me for a second.
Tell us about tell me how that whole process went. Oh yeah, dogs. We'll wait for Mr. Matt to come back dealing with his puppies.
Welcome to live recording, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, that was 140 pounds Doberman that just woke up from his slumber. Sorry about that.
Speaking of dogs, Matt, I don't know if I've ever showed you a picture of my dog. She's a Multi-Poo, and she's the sweetest little baby. She's literally probably this big, and she's gonna be this big for life because she's just full grown now. And she doesn't usually get scared too often. And me and my wife were playing a scary game last night together. We played a video game together, and the sound that the video game was making just startled her so much to the point where we were wondering what was wrong with her. She was just in shock. And we had to try throwing toys around to see if she would react to them, and she wasn't reacting to them. So I guess the moral of the story is dogs can get scared by movies and games too.
Wow. Gee. I was gonna say, because I've never met your dog. I see your cat's butt almost every morning in the morning. Yeah. It's always nice that the cat shares that with us.
Dogs can't jump on dining room tables as easy as cats can, but you know.
At our poker table, the poker host actually has a dog that will run across the table every once in a while. He'll get a wild hair, just boom, right across the. But I'm sorry, before Apollo, I think Apollo just wants to be in on the podcast here. But before Apollo interrupted you, I think you had mentioned Jeff Lindsay, and
Jeff Lindsay.
Sorry, and I almost slipped. I know him from his real name, but yes. Sorry. But yeah, I got you. Yeah, so what do you want to know about Jeff?
Yeah, what's he like? I mean, I was huge into the Dexter series, like just TV show. I never actually read the books. But what's he like? I mean, what's a famous author like that like? What's he all about?
Well, the first thing is, well, first of all, he comes from Miami. That's probably why he based Dexter there and such. And just, well, to answer your question directly, I've had the pleasure of meeting Jeff, I think 2 or 3 times. They came by the Raleigh office. He and his wife, he's married to a nice woman by the name of Hillary Hemingway of that family. But Jeff and Hillary are just 2 of the best people you could ever meet in your lives. And again, limited, engagement with them and all that sort of stuff. But the few times that he came in the office, he would bring copies of his books, hand it out to anyone who was working there, sign them, and would regale you with stories, for 10 or 15 minutes. Just an A+ personality. I mean that not like an out, but just a great, engaging, funny guy and such. In fact, we're sitting here in North Carolina. They, quiet as it's kept or whatever. I don't know if it's quiet. I don't really care. But they actually moved to Boone, North Carolina, and he was an adjunct professor. The last time I talked to him was a while ago. And I talked to Hillary more, but the last time, like a couple of years ago, probably right before COVID, and he was an adjunct professor at App State. And I was just like, I had a couple friends whose kids were going to App State and they want to be like lawyers or whatever the heck they want to be. And I'm just like, take this class. It will be one of the greatest classes you will ever, take, because you have a fiction writer teaching fiction writing at App State who's the author of like Dexter. Like, come on, dude. Like, how's that happen?
Exactly, yeah.
But he's good folks. They're good people.
Good people. Awesome.
Why do you ask?
I don't know. It just struck me. I was just like, because I know, I was just thinking of. Dexter just came across my screen the other day when I was watching TV. Have you seen all of the seasons or anything, Matt?
Okay, now you're putting me on the spot here, sir. I've never seen an episode.
You've never seen an episode of Dexter, but you represent the author. Awesome. Well, all I gotta say is stop watching Vanderpump Rules now and then start watching Dexter, because it's way better. I mean, it's not even in the same ballpark for type of show or anything. They're not in the same genre, but
yeah, there's more killing in Vanderpump Rules or Dexter. My bad.
Yeah, Dexter. Yeah.
More killing in Dexter, even though they've been killing it recently on Vanderpump Rules, if you know what I'm saying. But anyways. Sorry, I'll take my glasses
Yeah, true.
off.
I think me and Destiny are like 6 seasons into Vanderpump Rules. I just can't stand that main guy. What's his name again? The guy with the nose that got surgery done on. What's his name again? Jax or something like that?
Oh, Jax? Did he get nose surgery?
Yeah. Oh, did I spoil something?
I've never watched it. I just started watching it last year. And then I've watched recaps of all that sort of stuff. But in any event, well, what else we got here today as we got to wrap this up here?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. I did want to go through one last thing with you. I did have a question.
Dog is getting his ball out. And he's just like, this ball ain't going to throw itself. I have this feeling I got about 2 minutes before the dog is just like, all right, time to
just
go.
ready to bounce through the door.
Yeah.
I had a customer yesterday that I was talking to that really, which is very funny to me. Some people that file trademarks just don't know what trademarks are, which is really interesting when I think about it. Like, well, how can you not know what a trademark is, but you're filing for one? It's interesting. But she just she filed it like years ago, and actually it got a response back from the government where they were confusing with somebody else. But she was just like, what is the difference between a trademark and what that means? What is the difference between a copyright and what that means? And same thing for a patent. What makes them all the same and what makes them all different?
All right. Yeah. Good base question that everyone should know especially if you're an entrepreneur or an inventor, right? Trademark is your brand, like we've mentioned, McDonald's, Google, etc. It's how you identify your goods or services to the world. So in other words, if you're Dr. Pepper, they know it's a Dr. Pepper in the can. One of the reasons why we talked about Dr. Thunder, which is do people actually pick Dr. Thunder off the shelf and thinking they're getting Dr. Pepper, Who knows? But anyway, so trademark is your brand, okay? It's your name, it's your identity, it's how you identify your goods and services. Copyrights are protecting any original work of artistic expression. Okay, that's the legal mumbo jumbo, right? You copyright movies, songs, artwork. What else can you think of? What am I missing? There's tons of stuff out there.
Can you copyright, like Mickey Mouse is a copyright because of his overall likeness, so characters.
Yeah, characters and things like that. If you've ever watched an NFL broadcast all the way to the end, what do you always hear? Do you remember? You got it?
NFL broadcast.
It is.
No, I can't remember.
Copyrighted the NFL, the NFL, blah, 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 the NFL, whatever, the NFL, all rights, blah, blah, blah. They give you a copyright notice after every single broadcast. Because even though
this is brought to you. Okay, I gotcha. Okay.
They own it. I think that their deals with NBC and ABC, even though, because every time you do a live broadcast, even like we're talking about this, theoretically, we have a copyright in this as it's going out, live. And then you'll own the copyright. Congratulations, you're the owner of this thing, whatever this thing is we just did here. But you own this. It's called your intellectual property. So you have a copyright for this because this is an original piece of artistic expression. We can, debate the value.
That's a good example.
Yeah, like your hat, great artistic expression. But anyways, so copyright just protects. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it just protects the original work of artistic expression. Mostly people think like songs, novels, books, movies, all that sort of stuff and such. And finally, patent invention. The easiest way to just think of it is an invention. If you invent something, actually, I got something really cool. I've been playing around with this while we've been chatting, and that no one can see it because it was below the screen. Anyways, it's this little thing. And this is the coolest little thing, right? What do you think this is, by the way?
That looks like some alien technology diagram, I think. What is that?
Cool.
What is that?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Is it a bottle opener?
So this is what it's supposed to be, right? So it fits in your wallet, and you twist it. Now you're gonna start seeing what it is. Twist it again. Hold on. Sorry, I gotta stick it in. All right. It's a phone holder. It's a portable phone.
Oh, what? That is insane. I would have guessed that. That's crazy.
The fiance got me it, and it's really cool. But so when we talk about that, so just all in a nutshell, so the name of this, whatever the name of this, forgive me, I don't know the name of it. I would give them out, props. But this is, I thought, was the coolest little invention I've ever seen. And so theoretically, they probably could have gotten this patented. The way it swivels to actually pop up and actually be an actual phone holder and such. But it actually goes in your wallet if that's where you are. It's the size of a credit card and such. But so that would be like an invention. And such, that would be something that someone could patent. Obviously, you can patent new drugs. You can patent, a better case.
Legal drugs.
Whatever. What about drugs?
Legal drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. Okay, that's another thing you've mentioned. You can't trademark things that are illegal. So you can't get a trademark for currently marijuana. It's federally illegal. You can't do it. You can get state trademark for it, but you can't get federal trademarks for it. But anyways, so that's the difference. So just in a nutshell to recap. Trademarks are basically your brand. Copyrights are any artistry that you create. And finally, patents are inventions. That's really just what you need to know. And for most businesses, you're going to have a minimum of trademark. Some businesses will have copyrights as well, or at least artists and filmmakers and all that sort of stuff, and novelists or writers. And then, of course, obviously patents. A lot of businesses will also have patents if you're inventing things. Doesn't matter if it be legal drugs or other type of machinery. I can tell you, I'm sure that Apple has. I couldn't even tell you how many patents they have, but I'm sure it's thousands. For on their little parts in their phone and all that sort of stuff. So there you go.
Awesome. Thank you for the breakdown for all of the different types of brand protection. So, Matt, last question for you. Who are you rooting for, 49ers or the good old Chiefs for the Super Bowl Sunday? Don't you dare say Chiefs. I'm just
I gotta be honest with you, man. I like Kelsey and I like Mahomes. I think they're awesome, But I also like I traditionally didn't like the 49ers because I liked the Cowboys back in the day. So I don't really have a dog in this hunt. What about you? And obviously not the Chiefs.
I unfortunately was really let down when the Lions lost. I was really hoping to see the Lions go, but I really like their head coach. The Lions head coach, really. Yeah. I've listened to a lot of his pep talks, his motivational speeches. He's really awesome guy, and he's a great leader. But I would
And
say
Brock
probably the
Field.
49ers, because Brock Purdy, I don't know how he even got here at this point, but he's here. So yeah, I would say the 49ers is my bet, because I have a thing with a team that keeps going to the Super Bowl, or in the other cases, the NBA Finals, when the Warriors would go every single year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a thing for wanting the other team to win, because I'm tired of seeing the same team go every year. Just like with the Patriots, and why I hate the Patriots is I hate seeing Tom Brady's face every single year in the Super Bowl. So
That must have been painful. Well, it's the great Jim Kelly of Buffalo, one of the greatest quarterbacks never to actually punch through and win a Super Bowl, used to say, if you don't want us to go, beat us. I used to always love it. He had such a great statement on that. But yeah, it's funny. I don't, you were, I think you were young. But like, I don't remember the animosity towards Michael Jordan and the Bulls when they're at their height. But like, it seems almost like that people start like I like sort of like watching the GOAT, because I when Tom Brady like notched up all those things, like, as a Dolphins fan, I was never like, yay, go Patriots. And I know as a Pittsburgh fan, you definitely aren't like, go Patriots. But, in the same vein, you respected the greatness, right? Because you're just like, holy crap. And after a while, I sort of was like, when Tom Brady was actually playing down for Tampa, I was absolutely rooting for Tampa. I'm like, I want to see Tom get another one. Just the greatness is greatness. So on one hand, I would love to see a quarterback that was Mr. Irrelevant actually go out and win the Super Bowl. I think it's just a great story, especially after. Do you want to mention what he said back to Cam Newton? Because our old Carolina Panthers, Cam Newton, been trolling him for so long. Or I'll mention in a second. But on the other hand, to see Mahomes and Kelsey notch their third, and then, and again, Andy Reid's one of the best coaches that's, the NFL's ever seen. Like, I don't know if he gets the props out from everyone, but he really is an amazing coach. And to basically lose people like Tyreek Hill and stuff and just reload, and not even reload, and continue to get through the adversity.
Rest in peace, my fantasy team, whenever he was, for the Dolphins, when he got injured this season. But go ahead. As I ramble on about sports, but it's cool, and like, everything, you're hearing about, aside from the Kelsey Swift show, now it's coming out about this young woman, and she's like evidently just like an amazing person. And it's sort of like a feel-good story. You're like, you sort of hope, like, maybe on some level they found each other's matches, so to speak, and maybe they ride off into the sunset with each other, just have a great life. The Mahomes, and I've never heard anything bad about Patrick Mahomes. Seems like he's a good kid. I think married his high school sweetheart, and making a ton of money now. God bless him and such. But again, back to the Brock Purdy thing. Got people like hating on him because he's Mr. Irrelevant, leading a team to the Super Bowl, making ungodly low amount of money for what other quarterbacks are making in the league, and such. And then they'll be making way more next year. So, I'm sure.
I'm an agent. I'm just like, it's funny though, because you think about it, one of the reasons they may be in the Super Bowl is because they can have all this other cap space because they're not paying their quarterback squad, right? Because quarterback usually sucks up all your cap space, or a lot of your cap space, and such. And I don't know what Cam Newton was trying to pick a fight with him. I'm guessing trying to get his 16th minute of fame or something like that. And it said a couple times like he's just a game manager and such. I think he's been keeping the pound this. Did you see what Brock Purdy said back to Cam Newton?
No, I didn't say it. What did he say?
He said something to the effect of like, yeah, I may be a game manager, but there are 90 quarterbacks on NFL rosters right now, and you're not one of them. And I was like, that was savage. But it's just like, people are going to throw shade. And by the way, we'll work this back into a business thing just real quick as we wrap this up. But, just one of the things also as an entrepreneur, the more successful you get, and again, I'm going to take this to your thing about Mahomes. Like look at this. Patrick Mahomes never done anything bad to anyone and all that sort of stuff. People Tom Brady, same thing, right? Giselle may disagree, but I don't know. That's their business. But it's sort of like, but the more successful you are, the more shade you'll get, heaped on you. Just understand that people will want to say bad things about you, and as an entrepreneur, you just got to be set for that. So, the great late Kobe Bryant once said, "Haters are a good thing, man, because it means you're doing something," and such. And so, to Mr. Purdy, I would just say, number one, good luck in the Super Bowl. I don't know. I just hope we have a really great game. I just hope there's not a bad game, and embrace the fact that Cam Newton is trolling you. Because, no one hates the bad ones. They only hate the good ones because they're jealous of them. or something. And Cam is absolutely saying stuff about this guy because there's a twinge of jealousy. Dude's rolling into a Super Bowl. Cam never won one. So, hey, Brock, good luck, man. And, embrace the hate. Anything else for you, sir?
Exactly. I mean, I just really want the commercials to be better and the halftime to be better. The halftime show to be better than it was last year. Was not that good. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm bragging on. Who's the halftime show this year?
Usher. Mm-hmm.
Oh, he'll do a good show.
Yeah, Usher. I think he's done it before, if I'm not mistaken. So he should be good.
Last year was Rihanna, right?
Yes, while she was pregnant. Yeah.
While she was pregnant, the stage was pretty. The challenge with Rihanna's last year was the stage the year before, where they did like those multiple houses. They had like Eminem. God, who was? It was like 2 or 3, right? It was like Mary J. Blige, I think, was there, and I want to say Dr. Dre, and like
Snoop
it was Snoop. It was like the rap royalty, and such. And then the stage was so innovative and all that sort of stuff. And I got to give props to Rihanna and her. I thought she did a great job. But I think I was almost thinking I think Usher's going to have a challenge this year. I'll be interested to see what he says, because we've now had 2 years in a row where, to me, they really tried to it's the stage and it's all that sort of stuff. And I'm sort of waiting for them just to go back to just like someone who just comes in and just rocks the place out, like maybe like U2 or something like that. Like the stage is going to be cool, but they're going to play like some really amazing, just it's going to be focused more on the music and not the show. I'll be honest with you, I was actually a little bit stunned that it wasn't Taylor Swift. But she's getting all the free press and she didn't even have to do a free show. So she's like, why would I actually go and actually work during the Super Bowl? I'd rather enjoy watching my special friend Travis Kelce, play in the Super Bowl, as opposed to being worried, because I'm sure a lot goes into a tremendous amount that we don't even understand how much work goes into those damn shows. And such. So she'd rather just enjoy it. Oh, I'm sorry. Another rambling point. You do know you remember I mentioned this in a meeting. She's got to actually fly. I don't think she can actually make the Super Bowl, because she's actually, I think, in Japan performing. And so she may make the post party, but I think she's going to have to watch it from the plane. Assuming I'm sure her plane will have satellite feed of the actual Super Bowl. She can afford it.
Oh, she can afford it.
She's doing okay. What does she do in her free time? She makes a lot of money.
That's a good question. Yeah, she makes a lot of money.
Yeah, and don't hate on her, because, like I said, everything she's just an absolutely salt of the earth person, just a wonderful kid, and she's just doing good things. So props out to her. All right, now let's end this thing, because
awesome. Let's have a great rest of our day. Thank you for everyone joining today's podcast for Small Business Chat. We're here today with Jacob and Matt. So have a great rest of your day, and tune into the next Small Business Chat podcast. Thank you very much.